Good. Look at all the pink in the room. We are so excited to talk to you today about our panel discussion. Good afternoon and welcome to our discussion on building inclusive, diverse, and equitable leadership roles. My name is Jessica Hamilton. I am the SVP of Business Development for PLRB Claims Services. We are an adjusting firm that handles from A to Z, from the start to the finish of a claim, even to the repair. And I'm so happy to be here, and this is such an amazing cause for us to be able to talk about leadership, equity, diversity, and inclusion. So also I want to introduce my co-moderator, who is my partner in crime.
Well, thank you. I guess I stand up because she stood up.
I can't sit still if y'all know me.
My name is Michelle Licht. I am the VP of Sales with ALE Solutions and Catastrophe. I've been with ALE for 18 years. I'm proud to say that ALE Solutions started as a women-owned company, and as of now, we have 67% of our employees that are women, and I love to share that. So proud to be at this company, and as you can tell, 18 years, it truly means I love what I do.
Yeah. So in the area where diversity is not just a buzzword, it's a necessity. Where inclusion isn't just a mandate, it's actually where it's a mandate, it's actually also an aspiration. We have to make sure that in our thought leadership that we're talking about diversity, equity, and leadership and equitable positions at the table. So we also recognize that building inclusive, diverse, and equitable leadership roles is not a one-size-fits-all. We all know that, right? And so we're going to talk about today strategies on what these leaders are doing and how they are implementing in their organizations and leading by example. And what I want to do is now I'm going to introduce our panelists. So Gina, would you like to start?
Yes, thank you. Gina Reyes. I am the VP of Claims at Openly Insurance. Been there for about 3 years, but I am 28 years in the claims world. So I've done everything from, I started as an adjuster, and today I'm the VP of Claims, and I've worked all over the world as well. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. Gina, actually also, while we're going to introduce yourselves and also tell us, what does inclusion mean to you, and why is it important to your company, and why do you feel it needs to be at the forefront?
That's a lot of questions.
I know. Sorry, just give us one.
That's just for you. I think inclusion really is about allowing ourselves and our employees to bring their whole self to work and to not have to hide anything about themselves. And I think people that work authentically as themselves perform much higher and are much happier and much more satisfied with their roles. So I think it's very important that we continue to build inclusive environments.
Thank you. Joel?
Hello. First of all, you all look amazing out there. My name is Joel Lyons. I'm a founder and chief executive officer for Lyons Restores. As you see, we're a diverse business, believe it or not. Been doing this over 21 years now. My space is personal property. So anything from hard contents to textiles, electronics, fine art, area rugs, all of that, commercial or residential. So I'm happy to be on the panel with my sisters here that I do know work very hard, and I'm glad to be here to support.
Thank you.
I'm Trisha Barhorst. I lead personal lines property for Nationwide. I would say diversity, equity, and inclusion is important to Nationwide because we want our employee base to represent our customer base and our community base. And we have a great set of values that we live in every day, and we are very diligent about attracting and retaining diverse talent at the organization. I'm excited to spend more time with you all today. And thank you for the men that are here. It's really great to see you all. So thank you.
The one thing I think that the Women's Walk and this panel is really elevating and bringing highlight to is we can be better together. Mm-hmm. And together we can do amazing things. So Michelle, you're next on the questions.
Okay. So Tricia, this one's for you. Can you share your thoughts of the importance of creating an inclusive culture that attracts and retains top talent, especially for underrepresented minorities?
Yeah, so I spoke about it a little bit. We want to have the right talent at our company so that our customers feel that they are seen and heard. We have some demographic shifts that are happening across the country, and so it's important to have that representation so that when we're out at their properties, they feel that they're being listened to and cared for in a way that matters to them the most. That's what I would say.
Gina?
Yeah, I was reading an article the other day, and it really kind of hit home that, so in the past, people, especially men, move companies for money. But women and other underrepresented minorities really are not leaving companies because of money or going to a new company for more money. It's really about the culture and working in an inclusive environment and working in an environment where they know that there's going to be opportunities for them to grow and develop and continue to build their career. So I think that's just really representative of the times today. And what we're talking about today is that we just really have to focus on that because we need to not only develop our talent, but we need to retain that talent as well. And we need to attract the right talent and foster that relationship in those careers.
Joel, you have anything to add on that?
Yeah, I mean, piggybacking on what Tricia said, we're working in the very communities you're writing premiums, right? And so with the company, you know, we're a little bit over 71% of our business. I mean, our employees are women. But then in the communities that we serve, why not have diversity, right? You know, so coming for us, we're looking for character first, right? But I was in the military, and one of the things that we really believed in was diversity. You have to be, right? And so when you're out there, at the end of the day, you really don't care what color, you know, what their sexual orientation is or whatever it is, because if you don't, you die, right? And so coming to the civilian life afterwards, at the end of the day, we're looking for character, and we're looking for the people that can do the job at the end of the day. So if we're in the communities in which you're writing premiums, I think it's only fair to be diverse.
Very nice.
Thank you. That's great.
That's great.
So Tricia, to you again, in your experience, what are some common misconceptions or biases that may hinder the selection of right talent, and how can organizations address them?
Yeah, I think it's just, it takes effort, right, to go out and recruit different talent than what has been historically hired in the past. And so you have to be mindful about where to find the talent. I'm thinking, you know, partnering with trade schools, encouraging internships to get the right mix of diversity into your talent pool. The other thing, you know, I mentioned the demographics of the country are shifting. So 57% of single homeowners are women.
Isn't that interesting?
And 44% of women are going to college versus 35% of men going to college. So when you think about what that means in the property space, there's going to be more women owning homes where we're all showing up to serve and care for them at the most traumatic moments. I'll share just a small story of something that we ran into just a couple weeks ago. We had a large lost fire in Illinois, and our claims adjuster, she is a female, showed up to serve the customer, and as she got there, there were two public adjusters in a fist fight in the customer's house. As it was burning. They were listening to the fire scanners, and the woman just was absolutely traumatized by the whole, didn't know what to do next, right? So thank goodness our adjuster was able to get there very quickly, pull her in our company car, take care of her, call the police, get it settled. But, you know, I'm just thinking about if that customer, if we hadn't been there, if we went and they weren't comfortable with, you know, the person that we sent, how could have that escalated? And so that's why it's really important to hire the folks that are paying our premiums that look like the folks that are paying our premiums as well, just so that they're seen and heard.
Michelle?
Yeah,
Gina?
I think, and a few things that you touched on, right, is a good segue into what I call skill set hiring. So we are seeing more tech companies and large corporations making that shift and eliminating the requirement of having a bachelor's degree or even the only experienced candidates to be considered. That, in my opinion, may come off a little bit old-fashioned methods and ideas and prevent progressive innovation if we look at it that way. And some of those, the traction, we're seeing this traction happening in these large enterprises that are very tech-driven, like Google, Apple, IBM, to name a few, right? And in insurance, we all know, what are we all focusing on right now? Technology, innovation, and we're disrupting quickly, right? So shouldn't we be considering that as well? And when we're on a panel talking about inclusive, are we really thinking about inclusive when we're eliminating possibly candidates that might have not had the opportunity to go to college because they didn't have the money to go to college, or they might had to drop out because they ended up having children and they had to stay home to raise their children, in many different scenarios. So I would like to understand for all of you as your enterprises, what you do and how you move on your hiring, and if it's more skill set. And for just quickly, for me on a personal, I went to a trade school. I have a culinary and hospitality degree that I believe has how I'm successful in what I do now is because I have that people person, right? And that servant, being that you're serving in the hospitality industry. And the industry we're in, you need a servant's heart. And so I would interested to know of all of you. Gina, if you want to start with that one maybe and share your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think I've evolved. So I came from a world where you had to have a degree. You were eliminated if we wouldn't even look at someone without a degree, even if they had experience. And that was in both of my prior companies. And when we started hiring for our claims team and openly, one of my employees was like, are we going to require a degree? I said, of course we are. That's what you do. And so she kind of argued with me, saw the other side. So I talked to some others in our company. We're like, yeah, we don't require that. I'm like, okay. So I've come around. We've hired, I don't know how many people without degrees. That just really isn't even, we don't even focus on that at all anymore. And it has not been an issue. But as I think about it, I think you just said a stat of only 44% of women and 35% of men are going to college these days. If we still have that same mentality, we're going to have nobody to hire in the future.
Exactly.
And so it's for real. And and I think about my niece and nephew, trade schools. Kids want to go to trade schools now and get into the industry. They're like, things that I can learn at college, I can learn that on the internet now. I'm like,
Yeah,
so.
and also the nice thing is that we've recommended people to go and work starting in at an F&OL side of the business, and then the carrier actually helps them pay for their college. So it's a win-win, and that's even a double whammy because it also contributes to your culture.
Well, and I think, Tricia, that's where you add in for Nationwide.
Yeah. So we don't require college degrees for claims. Now, college degrees are required for actuarial type, risk assessment things at Nationwide, but not for claims. I mean, you all are well aware of the talent war is real in the claims industry, and so we've had to adjust to that. But yeah, so we welcome people into Nationwide if they show that they're a servant leader and are able to capable of learning. And then we have a great benefit where we will help people go to college or even get a graduate degree if that's what they choose, where Nationwide will help pay for that.
I was thinking about this topic this morning, and I was thinking about, like, Everell, you guys have an adjusting school, essentially.
We do. We train them from start to finish, and we've changed so many lives where somebody that maybe a young man, in fact, that's worked with me since he was 15, he's 25, and I said, it's time for you. You can't be my dog's nanny anymore. And it's time for you to get a job, and you should think about the insurance industry because it's recession-proof, and you can give back, and it feels good. and we got him a job. He went through our school, and he's working now in the industry, getting survey scores of 10s. So, you know, it feels good to give back. So thank you for thinking about that.
But I was also thinking about, you know, we're given a scholarship later.
We are.
And maybe we need to, less and less kids are going to school, and we are all talking about what a huge percentage of the claims industry is retiring in the next few years. Where are we going to get our talent? Maybe we need to start giving scholarships to our type of trade schools to get the talent ready, because we're going to run out of people.
That's a good point, actually, because, sorry, I don't mean to get off track, you guys, but did any of you wake up in the morning and think that you were going to, I'll give that to Mike, that wake up and said, I want to be in insurance today. And insurance is real sexy. No. And so the thing is that's actually the key, but we're all, how many of you probably didn't think you were going to be in the industry? Raise your hand. And who's going to, thank you, who's going to retire? All of us, probably. And if you're not, I hope your boss
Once you
doesn't
leave
invite
it, you don't get out of it. And we all know that, but nobody
Sorry,
woke up
I don't mean to
thinking
get off.
they're-
I'm squirrel every now and then. So
I
that
know,
brings me
I was
back.
about to
But
stop
Joel,
her.
we need Joel's perspective here.
Yeah, I was about to get you.
Okay, okay.
Don't worry, I got
I
her
was
for
going to
you.
rein her in.
We're all friends, by the way.
We're best friends, so I already know. I was looking at the
I
clock.
saw your
I was
look,
like,
Joel. I got you.
That's it.
Okay.
How many restoration people in restoration companies? Jesus Lord, no one else? I guess they're in the trade show, right? But one of the things, you know, Tricia said it earlier, like the hiring struggle is real. And I think COVID taught us a lot, right? Because I think the mindset of everyone has changed, especially that younger generation. So obviously we have C-suite people, team members, but we also have frontline team members as well. So you think the struggle is real, requiring degrees. What about trying to make sure they can read, write, do arithmetic, right? And so one of the things that we had to do was beef up our training. And so we really leaned into a training program, right? And say, okay, you know, no one really respects HR until it happens, an incident happens, right? All right, we need our HR person, right? So we had to go in. We had to look at all the trainings and all the division and contents and textiles and everything. And that way when they come in, yeah, we still hire for character, but we also know that we need to make it exciting and attractive for them too. So we get some technical classes. We have like a belt system. And that way they can, even for them that want to feed their children, have basic needs, we want to pay them a little higher than what they would be making down the street. As you all notice, I really don't even say please and thank you anymore at Chick-fil-A. So
Mine does.
okay.
I travel there every now and then.
Try going to another community. So a diverse community, by the way. So, but at the end of the day, we have to lean into our training programs at the same time, right? And make that more attractive. So Gina, I think you're absolutely right. I think we all have to lean into our training and make sure we're attractive for that next set of people looking at this industry. You know, the struggle is really real on the restoration side. And then along with that, there's timeline stamps and things that the carriers want from us.
Cycle times.
Cycle times, yeah. So training is going to be, you know, I think the skeleton that we have to build on.
To really build on for the future. So let's go to the next question. We're going to start with Gina. So when it comes to senior leadership roles, we know that women and other underrepresented groups don't have equitable seats at the table. What can organizations do to ensure that employees are prepared and have the opportunity for higher advancement?
Yep. I guess my mic, can you guys hear me now? Okay. So I think that we have to be uber intentional about who we're recruiting. And then once we get people in the door, then we need to really encourage them and really make the efforts to tap on the shoulders. And as we know, there's lots and lots of studies that if there's a role open and there's 15 requirements for that job, a woman won't typically apply for that job unless she meets every single one of those requirements. But here's the other piece is we're also judging ourselves. It's very subjective. So, and we're our own hardest critics. So we got to give ourselves a break. And we need to help the younger generation understand that as well earlier, because I didn't really learn that till I was in my 40s or even older than that. So I wish I would have, thought about this or learned it a little earlier in my career. But also, so we've got to invite them in, and we've got to invite the women and the underrepresented minorities into the programs, into the mentorships, let them know that, encourage them to apply for the roles, and then also, give them a seat at the table. And once you have that seat at the table, we really need to not waste that seat and make sure that, once you get to that table, you need to understand that you earned it and you're here for a reason, so speak up and participate and engage, and don't crawl in a hole, or don't just sit there and be a lump on the log just because you're there. You don't want to make waves. Be yourself, be confident, and we've got to continue fostering that with our generations, in our mentorships, in our sponsoring, and make it a real thing.
Trish, you have something to add on that?
The other part I would add to that is accountability works both ways. So corporations, companies need to have the structure to nurture, attract, and keep the diverse talent. But also, we need to take accountability for our own careers and name what we want, and start fostering that for ourselves. We can't just assume that the companies are going to know that we want to take leadership roles or that we want extended responsibilities. So I really think it's important for us to have a voice in our own careers and share with our leaders our aspirations and kind of have a plan for that too.
Yeah.
Great answer.
Joel, do you have anything else to add?
No, I think that's a great answer. I think it is accountability on both sides, right? I just had a meeting earlier today, and we was talking with a carrier, and we was talking about diversity, and the question was asked to me, what could we do better? And I said, well, on one hand, you were saying, how do we get more diverse companies, right? And a lot of times, the companies that want the business don't have that accountability, right? They just want to punch the ticket. At the end of the day, I think where my answer to them was, I think you need to lean in and be preemptive, right? Have incubators where you're preparing companies to do business with you. Because how many companies can get through a SOP?
Not very many.
Right?
I'm glad everyone.
Oh, my God, you're not qualified, sorry. You right? Or, I had to learn early on that because we have 3 states we can service, that wasn't scale, right? So I had to go sharpen up my sword. I had to learn the business. I had to find value add, and I had to scale. So we had to acquire a company to get to that point. And so I think that, if you want to really touch on leadership roles, but most importantly, if you want to talk about accountability, I would say have an incubator that's preparing companies to do business with a nationwide or open.
So Joe, while we've got you, Michelle has a question for you in a male perspective.
I do, but you just scrolled it away from the screen.
Our conference
Boss
monitor.
lady, right?
Can you go down a little bit on the screen?
I thought y'all were co-moderator.
We are.
I am prepared, but I need a little bit of reading here. So as a male leader and advocate, Joel, what are some of your best practices to support and develop underrepresented talent in leadership?
Again, I think it comes down to training. So if I'm asking, I want to be the example, right? I can't go to Nationwide and ask for this business and not prepare, right? So I know we're represented. You walk down this hall, I think I've probably seen 7 Black males, in the whole deal. Right? And so when I look at accountability, I look at, holding the door open for the next person or the next company. So for myself, I'm taking that charge by being an example.
And we all need to take that same charge as well, right?
For everything.
Absolutely.
For all of us. So
It's
let's.
the purpose of the panel, right?
Yeah.
It's the purpose of what.
Yeah. So we're going to do some Q&A, but we're going to do a final question. So we're going to ask the panelists this, and this is what we want to ask you all, because everybody here is a leader in your own mind, at home, at work, or you're aspiring to be one. So the question that I want you to also answer is, what is your secret sauce for being a well-respected leader in the industry who is known for inclusion and challenging traditional leadership expectations? How are you going to be that champion? And whether you have one person that reports to you or 100, how are you going to make a difference and really stamp it while you're here in this industry to make it better? Gina?
Yep. So I'm the advice I'd give to people and what I kind of live is just be unapologetically yourself. You no need to apologize for being who you are, but be authentic, because people lean into authentic leaders and authentic employees, and if you can't be yourself and if you have to fake being something else every day, you're not going to do well. And so be you.
That's good. Sorry, how
Mic drop, just.
Yeah, I don't know.
Boom. All right.
Who's coming after that?
Well, I can talk a little bit about my leadership style. So I'm newer to the claims industry. I haven't even been in this role for a year. I came from underwriting previously, so I've never adjusted a claim. But what I can do is bring my leadership skills and my ability to learn into this organization. That's exactly what I've been able to do. And the way that I was able to instantly gain credibility with a large group of industry experts was meet them where they are. I went out and attended 100 huddles to meet with associates, frontline associates who are adjusting claims every day, and I listened, and I took notes, and I took feedback, and then I took action based off of that feedback. And so I think that if you're looking to make a shift from company to company or discipline to discipline, it's just really important to understand who you are serving. And in my role, I get to serve associates, and I get to serve customers, and I get to serve my company. And so I look for ways to connect to each of those facets in the way that makes sense, while staying true to who I am.
Good answer.
Great. Yes, sir.
I would say the same thing. I would say the same thing. I think at the end of the day, I think I value my respect. I give it and I want it back. And so I also know that's accountability for me to be a good student of the industry. I go to a lot of conferences, so the last thing you want to do is see a vendor manager or a VP walking down the hall and you have bad experience. So, right, I don't need that pressure. So at the end of the day, I just, being best in class is the common denominator, right? Having integrity, being best in class, but you said it earlier, also being a servant leader, right? I mean, that's contagious, and I think it's important for me to be that example, and then, when the next company comes along that's diverse in whatever fashion, that you want to give them an opportunity. You could say, hey, you gave Joel an opportunity, he took care of that opportunity, and championed the next person that stepped up to the plate.
All right, thank you. Michelle,
Am I in the ending or Q&A first?
we're wrapping her up, buddy. My sister in crime.
Sorry, I don't see mine on here, so I'm just going through my notes to end it.
Final thoughts?
Oh, here we go. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm here for you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a little delayed on there.
Always.
So a couple things. We would like to leave you with a final thought and a request. I mean, really, let's continue to work towards creating a world where every person has an equal opportunity, where diversity and inclusivity and reflected in leadership, and really where fairness is not just a goal, but let's make it a reality. Let's truly try and get that to be a reality. And someone said it best: diversity is a fact. Inclusion is a choice. We have to choose to foster culture of inclusion so our employees feel like they're part of something bigger, and we give them an opportunity to have something bigger, right? So it's all in us, all these leaders in the room. That's the point of being a leader, is giving the opportunity. And you know, I always like to say this, I'm a big Bob Marley fan, and his wife Rita Marley said, the mission comes from the messenger. So if we can work together and get it out there, let's work together to become better. And that's really what I want to end with.